Test on one day. India, England, Australia. What a player! What a player! What a player!
Hello and welcome back to What a Player Concussion Sub-Series for a special show we've got for you today. T20 cricket started in June 2003. When it started, it was the third format after Test matches and ODIs, and everyone wondered how people will take it, how it will evolve, and look at it now. Almost 20 years after that happened, it is the most important and the most commercially viable format in cricket we have. We've got a new format coming up. You might have heard about it, the 100. So what's new in it? Well, to figure out and find out what is happening in the summer of 2021 in England, we have Vishak and Suman to discuss everything about the 100. Welcome, guys.
Exciting times.
Yeah, new format, like new rules. It'll be exciting. Another new format added to cricket.
The 100 is a 100-ball match in each innings. So a T20 has 120 balls, so the 100 has 100 balls. So that's very simple English for people who follow T20 cricket. Now, the biggest change that's happening in English cricket in this competition is the Vitality T20 Blast has 18 teams, 9 teams in the North group, 9 teams in the South group. They start in May, they end in September, lots and lots of games. Some games do not even have television coverage. So there was always an idea that was behind ECB's mind that they wanted to create a competition that can match the likes of IPL and Big Bash League, which is in a condensed format right at the peak of the summer during the school holidays, and see whether they can attract new fans to the game. So Suman, we've got 8 different teams. What is your first thoughts when you think about this 100? Like anything you're expecting or you're thinking of, why do we have a new format at all when T20 is working so well?
Oh, any cricket format, I'm game for it. But I'm more curious to know by the end of the episode, how can a 100-ball cricket game derive a result, and what are all the rules and regulations? So I'm really looking forward for what you and Vishak have to talk about to our audience. By the end of the episode, we'll know what the 100 is all about.
Vishak, how about you? You excited for this new format? Who knows?
Definitely.
Years down the line, this could be another ICC format people may be adopting. Who knows?
Definitely, that's what I was about to talk. When people started T20, when T20 started, people were apprehensive about it. The same, that is how I think the 100 would also be. But now, since people know about the T20s, it's just a little condensed format with slightly modified rules. So I think people will take this up more easily than how they took to T20. And I think definitely another format, and the more shortened, I think it'll be like not 3 hours. This will finish in around 2.5 hours. And I think something to be ideally fit into an Olympics game or Commonwealth somewhere.
Yeah, very, very important point. And the reason Vishak says that it will fit in 2.5 hours, unlike some of the IPL games, which goes on and on, is because of one rule change. But we'll come to that. What we'll do is, I think our focus in this video will be to try and understand what the rules would be. We'll all try and look at the playing conditions and ensure that by the end of this video, you have a fair idea of what we're looking forward to. First, look at what the teams are. So England, obviously a population of around 7 crores. So they've picked up 7 cities, 1 in Wales. So this is England and Wales Cricket Board, and 6 cities in England. 2 teams from London, London Spirit and Oval Invincibles. 1 team from Manchester, Manchester Originals. 1 team from Wales, I said Welsh Fire. 1 team from Nottingham, that's Trent Rockets. We'll slowly start getting used to it. A team from Southampton is Southern Brave, where India unfortunately lost the World Test Championship final. I don't know why I remember that. 1 team from Birmingham Phoenix. And we have the Superchargers Northern. What is the first thing that comes to mind, Suman, looking at the team names? Is this going to be a household sort of Mumbai Indians, RCB in years to come?
Yeah, it's definitely a change in format, change in names. So any new tournament any new team, there'll be initial set of apprehensions. But as the fan base builds up, which I'm sure it will, and as the tournament picks up, I'm sure these will be household names in United Kingdom. It is a super hit tournament because T20 is becoming a business as usual, and anything new to spice up the life, yeah, why not?
Yeah, and I must tell you that when this idea was thrown up a few years ago, a lot of the high-profile players were very skeptical about it. But as the tournament is upon us, a lot of positive things have been said about it, and people are looking forward to watching this. I'm, for a fun fact, I'm going to watch London Spirit versus Oval Invincibles, and I'm going to be supporting London Spirit because Lords is my favorite cricket ground in London of the two. Vishak, so 8 teams, but we looked at the format, and each team is only playing 8 games, unlike say 14 games, which we expect in say an IPL or a Big Bash league.
Yeah, definitely. It looks a different format here. Not all teams play twice. It's like they play all the teams at least once, and just one team out of those twice. So not sure how that is being picked and how they have chosen that team. Which team has to play twice? There are a lot of things which might have been gone in the background to do all this. I think for each season that might change, like which team they play twice. So that could, and even in the IPL in one of the seasons when we had 10 teams, I think not all the teams played each other twice. There was some format change over there, like they played the team, or some of the teams only once and some of the teams twice. I think this is a similar format to that. They play only one team twice. That's why we have only 32 games as opposed to 56 games what we have in the IPL.
And one more important fact which I wanted to mention was, so if you see Vitality, Blast, or even if you see Big Bash, the people or the players from that country, like Australians, a lot of the Australians never played Big Bash. Like Warner hardly plays Big Bash because the core international summer happens during that time. So this time they made a conscious effort that before, at least for the first 2-3 weeks before the India-England series starts, all the international players are free so that people can get to see the best of English cricket. And believe me, they have got so much depth. Look at how England B side effectively beat Pakistan 3-0. So let's look at the most fascinating aspect of this competition. Is going to be the rules, right? So we're going to go slowly one by one and try and declutter what we think it makes sense. So the first one, a shift from overs to balls as the measure of innings progression. Now this is 100 balls. So the first question is 6 balls for 1 over. So is it going to be 18 or 17.4 overs, or how is it going to work out? So the umpires will call 5 at the end of a bowler's set of deliveries, with 2 sets of 5 being bowled from each end before changing. A white card will be held up after the first set of 5. Vishak, tell us what this means.
Yeah, it is all new to us. Again, as I said, it's shifting from overs to balls. They wanted to split how it's being calculated. They want to split it into equal halves. You have 6 ball overs, right? So you could easily mean the 20 over game. You could easily say 20 into 6 is 120 balls. Whereas if you are playing 100, if you are making still a 6, if you are playing 6 ball overs, you would end up with something like a 16.4 overs, which is something in between. So I think they had to come up with something new. That's the reason they chose like a 5 ball over. And something which is interesting is like a bowler can bowl 10 continuous balls. That's from one end. So it's like he's bowling 2 sets of 5s. Let's not call it overs. I think we need to get used to it in this format that they call it as a set of 5s than overs here.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be the most critical rule change I think we have seen in international cricket. Imagine the last set of 2 5 overs, 2 5 balls left, say 10 balls left. Rashid Khan, he can bowl 10 deliveries at the end, or say Bumrah can bowl 10 deliveries at the end. So of the last 30 balls, 20 balls could be bowled by someone like a perfect dead bowler, which you otherwise may not be able to use in consecutive deliveries. So the side change is only going to happen after a set of 10 balls, so 5 each. So we are used to seeing, if you Suman, as you've seen so many games at the ground, after every 6 balls there's a 10-20 second break. So this obviously helps reduce the time, and it also creates a new dimension in terms of tactics, Suman.
Yeah, new dimension of tactics. And I'm also reading somewhere online that there's a lot of entertainment, DJs and other entertainers lined up. So the format lines up. If you have timeouts which players can call for, similar to IPL, so lots of fun. I think it's a complete entertainment package, at least from what we have seen, and let the tournament flow through. I'm sure halfway through the tournament, people will be talking about it. This is going to be fun. Looking forward for it.
So we'll just quickly go through the next few rules, which are quite straightforward. So toss doesn't have to be in the middle. I know Big Bash created this new bat toss, where the bat would flip and rather than having a coin. The power play would be effectively, say, a five set of five, so 25 balls. Fielding team can take a 2-minute strategic timeout at any given point after the first 25 balls. With caught dismissals, and this is an interesting one, the non-striker must return to their original end even if the two batters cross. Vishak, how does this change to what we have currently?
Yeah, there's something like they've made something like the new batters always have to face the ball when a wicket falls. That's, I think, something. Especially when you say that when the last set of 10 balls, you have to chase some 20-25 runs, and you have a set batsman at the other end, and 2 set batsmen, you lose 1 wicket, and 1 death bowler is bowling, like Sanjay, how you mentioned. When a new batsman comes and starts pacing, it's a different proposition. He has to come and straight away hit. It will not be that easy when, if it's in the T20 format or the normal other formats of cricket, if they cross over, the other batsman would face, and it would be easier for him since he is well set. But that is the kind of changes which will happen here, and yeah, it'll be a little challenging. It'll be challenging to get used to the things. I think even for the players as well as all the viewers, I think it'll be a little confusing at the start. Slowly we'll get used to it, and it'll be an exciting format.
The most disappointing rule is the next one. Tied matches in the group stage will not be settled by the number of boundaries, but it will be 1 point each. But the eliminator and the final would go to a super over, or effectively a super 5. You surprised with that, Suman? Because super over is a big hit in, say, a Big Bash or IPL.
Yeah, a little surprised that not every game is a super 5. But look, they have to build up the suspense and momentum, and I think points will be a good one. Even if the teams are tied by the points, it'll be interesting to see. Will they look at run rate? I don't know how the points table will work.
So the other couple of points, there's an amended DLS algorithm. Whoever knows how that works, but you will get a figure if there is a match which is rain affected. The next was a very interesting one. So IPL has had DRS for a while now, but this will be the first time that English domestic cricket will have DRS. So this will be very interesting. So anyone who's had all the nightmares of bad umpiring, they would be very happy, because a lot of international stars would potentially be involved in this series going forward.
And one more thing, the DRS would ensure that all the matches are televised. Because if you have to have DRS, you need to have the match televised. You need to show it live. So you need to have proper cameras at all the angles, which means the matches will be televised, which is actually good.
Each match in the daily double header will have its own time slot, so one match can't run into others' time. So we've got the set of some key women's batters, bowlers, all-rounders on the left-hand side, because we all know what men's cricket comprises of. Pretty much around the league globally, you have similar set of players playing. You'll have more English players in this one, but the likes of Shefali Verma, Smriti Mandhana, Harmanpreet Kaur from an India perspective, Jemima Rodriguez, Smriti Mandhana, as I mentioned, and lots of other international stars as well. It's a massive platform for them, because this is going to be identical treatment given to the men's format as well as women's. So if you have a game between London Oval Invincible and London Spirit, you will have a women's game starting during the day, and then followed by the men's game. So it will be all inclusive, and we are expecting lots and lots of fun during the tournament, considering it's all to play for basically. The one thing which I mentioned, that the time slots for each game. The last rule here is a really interesting one, and that again, apart from the 10 consecutive delivery at each end, this is the most interesting one. If a team is behind their over rate, they shall be required to field with one fewer player outside the circle from the point the penalty is incurred. Vishak, what do you think of this rule?
Yeah, especially as I mentioned, like this would ensure that the teams will try to finish their overs as quickly as possible. That's why I mentioned that it would be a shortened time, especially with 2.5 hours or something like that instead of the 3 hours. Like in IPL, if it goes beyond, it's just a fine, right? In the IPL or something. So, and players are just wanting to win. So here the thing is, the match is at stake. If you have to keep one player less in the boundary line, so it means that you have to bring, and the batting team has got an advantage over there. So they can easily, it's like a kind of a mini power play for them.
I like this rule because the previous rule was if the over rates were bad, captain will get penalty, captain will lose a game. So as a player, I'm okay with that. But in this case, you are impacted as a team. You will cost the match to a team as opposed to a pay or a game to the captain, which is a big difference. This is pushing towards a team goal.
Definitely. Here, actually, it's immediate punishment and the match is at stake. So the result itself is at stake if you actually go beyond the over rate. So I think this is a very good rule which they have actually brought up.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if this works out well for this tournament. ICC might adopt this rule change because for years and years, we've seen Test cricket 84, 85 overs being bowled, even with the extra half an hour. None of the T20 games around the globe finishes in 3.5 hours. Some of the IPL games go on for more than 4 hours. Although we love it, but yeah, there is no fixed time slot. So all these measures where you're effectively asking 2 sets of 5 balls to be bowled from one end, additional penalty if you are delaying with your over rate, is all meant to ensure that the game is compressed and it finishes off in time. So it'll be absolutely fascinating to see how this works out. Any parting thoughts before we move on, Suman and Vishak?
A couple of things which I wanted to add. It's like how it's being played out. It's like except the first 2 days. First 2 days are just one game each, and the rest of the days it's all double headers. It's like first the men's game will be played and then the women's game will be played. So each day it is like that until all the 32 games are being played. And then there is eliminators and all that, like how it's in the IPL, and then the final. So that's how. And one more thing which I wanted to bring up, it's good on the BCCI. They have allowed women players to participate in this. There are about 4 to 5 women's players who are participating in this league. Hopefully, like going forward, I think the men's players also get some chance, and it would be a good format to actually explore.
So London Spirits or Oval Invincibles, Sanjay, because you're based in the city. Who's your favorite?
So my favorite would be London Spirit because one is I like the name. Two is of the two grounds, Lords is my favorite. Oval is fine, but I like Lords a bit more than Ovals. But I think looking at some of the team composition, one of the northern teams might be a bit strong for these guys. But London Spirit is Shane Warne's team, so like he did with the Rajasthan Royals, who knows? Blue color as well, so it might be that he is able to win them their first trophy.
London Spirit is a captain by Eoin Morgan, Sanjay, or?
Yes. So Eoin Morgan also plays for Middlesex, which is the Vitality T20 team based out of Lords. So he's the one who should be captaining. Hopefully we'll get to see a lot of international cricketers. There have been some players who backed out at the last minute, but this tournament will only grow, I think. For cricket, because it's not the most popular game in England, they have to look at the best time slot between all the football action, all the tennis, Wimbledon. So this is just after Wimbledon, before the Premier League. There is 3-4 week window. You have the summer vacation for the kids. So there's lots of excitement, and hopefully you'll see full houses in some of the games, and it'll be a good event for people to watch.
And
Yeah, one more thing
Sanjay,
which I wanted to bring up, that is the youngest player in this tournament is from a women's team, and she is from Oval Invincibles, and her name is Alice Capsey. She's just 16 years old.
Wow.
So she is the youngest player, and the oldest player is from the men's, 41-year-old Imran Tahir.
okay, Imran Tahir goes to another Premier League across the globe. Amazing. And Sanjay is going to walk the talk. He's going for a game this weekend, isn't it? The 100. So we're all looking forward to hear from you as to how you experienced it and what the game was.
Absolutely. We'll do a mid-tournament review or whatnot. In Lords, it'd be very different at Lords because Lords is not somewhere you would associate lots of music to be played, etc. Although the Vitality T20 Plus, they do create a very good atmosphere. So I'm hoping this will be different to watching a test match, which was very boring, England versus New Zealand, fifth day. I think this will be a lot of fun. So I'm really looking forward to it. Boys, fantastic. Hope you guys have been able to at least get some sense of what this new format may bring to the table. I'm sure if you end up watching a few games, you will get a hang of it. And as players start playing more and more, they will try and use some of these rule changes more tactically. So it would be fascinating, to see how this tournament pans out. Suman, Vishak, thank you so much for joining. And for our viewers, if you're here for the first time, we all are cricket fans. We love watching cricket, talking about it. We have our channel in front of you. You can go in and have a look at lots of other cricketing contents you may potentially like. And if you do like something, do subscribe to our channel, share it with your friends, family. We love your support and encouragement. That keeps us going. Until next time, please do keep safe and take care. Vishak, Suman, goodbye. See you again.